thank you once again for joining us today on this glorious Sunday. Today we are going over the PentaHarp. So not only just talking about what the instrument is, but we want this monthly meetup to be about the tips and tricks that we've discovered on this instrument. So that's it. It's kind of the um, uh, the wonderful happy accidents that we've really discovered on this. We had always meant this to be kind of a just a first position, playing harmonica, being able to play the blues scale without bends and things like that. And it's so amazing how many people have discovered really, really cool things that this instrument has done. In the 3 years since we developed it, it's been eye-opening. So sit back and relax. If you have a PentaHarp, I'm sure you can play along along with Ronnie here. I do want to introduce, I'm sure everybody here knows Mr. Ronnie Shellist. Ronnie is a clinician, a teacher, an amazing person, an amazing player. And we've been working together for almost a decade now, if not more, something like that. Yeah. But I'm going to let Ronnie take over because he knows best when it comes to this thing. He's had it the longest.
I want to just start by saying that when I first got this, I not only was I confused as to what to do with it because I had lived on this standard Richter tuned, which is our standard diatonic tuning. If you have a marine band, let's say, or special 20, or even another model or another brand, they're all tuned way different than this. So when you first get it in your hands, to follow the patterns and the muscle memory that we learn is a disconnect. Don't be discouraged if you got a PentaHarp and say, I can't do anything with this. We'll demystify some of that today. What I would encourage you to do is, I'll just start with some really basics here for everybody. I'm going to be utilizing a C minor PentaHarp to start. If you have a different key in your hand, follow along. Don't worry about it. I also have an A that I'll do some demos on. But I would just encourage everybody to get used to, how many people here, show of hands, let me lower the hands. How many people here are brand new to harmonica? You're a guitar player, or you're just not coming from the harmonica world? Anybody? Only one or a couple?
Two.
Okay. So for you guys and anybody that's watching the recording of this, I'm really going to encourage you to work on getting single notes. So harmonica players that have been playing for a while, just hang with us for a second here. The best way I would share with you to get a single note is this method called puckering. You certainly can try tongue blocking. We're not going to get into deep discussion of technique really deep today, but you need to have a sense for how to get one note, and that's really important to play melody. So let me just show you what I do to get a really nice seal on this. I kiss it just like you're going to kiss your grandma. Get those lips puckered out and push the harmonica deep into the pucker. And make sure your lips are actually pretty far over the cover plate, both the top and the bottom. And this is going to ensure that you can cleanly get one note. It might take a little practice. If you hear this, don't be discouraged. You can still make music with the PentaHarp. You can still do things with this. We'll talk about that. So your goal is to work on single notes, those who are brand new to the instrument. Drew, would you agree with that?
That is probably the only real hurdle to this instrument is getting those clean single notes. That's the beautiful thing about it. You don't need the bends, but single notes are definitely definitely preferred.
Yeah. And so what's going to happen is what you'll want to practice, and I'm just trying to push this one last time to see if it'll go. I'm just going to leave it in the background, push it to YouTube. Is you'll work with this inherent scale. So let's talk about what the PentaHarp is all about. This is a logical starting point. Once you've got a single note, if you just repeat a blow and draw, which means inhale, anytime I say draw, starting on one blow, one inhale, and move that pattern all the way up the harmonica, you'll be playing a blues scale. And the reason this is called a pentaharp is because within that blues scale, we have the pentatonic, the minor pentatonic contained. And I'm going to talk about how to get each of these scales in just a moment. But if you just start by getting blow draw, so out and in all the way up, you'll get this sound. If you have a C, why don't you try it with me? And that brings me to 4 blow. If I want to remove the 2 draw, the inhale on 2, that's going to give me my pentatonic. Pretty straightforward. And the idea for the pentaharp really was, I think, and Drew can maybe explain a little more of this too, but it was designed for ease of use for those that are not accustomed to playing a Richter tuned harmonica to be able to pick it up and create music right away with very little technique and knowledge of bending, learning other patterns and scales just by getting good at creating a single note in and out in pattern, right? And that's Absolutely. The original intention.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we really we're coming from an area. Most of us in the office are guitar players or bassists, and really years back we found that how hard it was to get to a pentatonic scale or a blues scale on the harmonica. You really need some advanced technique. And for guitarists and bassists, the pentatonic scale was the first scale that we really learned in order to solo. So it is, it seemed almost counterintuitive to us that you couldn't be able to do that. And after some playing around, and Derek Frank, our artist relations manager, he actually made a working prototype, and we just had a blast, trying to figure out, all of our classic rock tunes and things like that we already, we know. We probably learned the first week of playing guitar, so.
I think your best example we've always talked about is Sandman. Is that what I'm thinking?
Iron Man.
Iron Man.
Iron Man.
I said Sandman.
Sandman. Yeah,
Iron Man.
You're going to Metallica right there. Yeah.
That's right. That's what I did. But, starting just with holes 1 and 2. Am I right?
Oh, yeah. That's Smoke on the Water. John got
Smoke
that.
Smoke on the Water?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the Iron Man.
Okay.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of these really basic melodies, again, like Drew is saying, without needing to bend and to get the minor third, for example, and to get these sweet bluesy notes, we can just now blow and draw. Now, let me back up before anything else and just say that if you haven't looked at the chart, I want to encourage everybody to go to pentaharp.com. And what you're going to find there is a plethora of information on the harmonica itself, including the note chart of the pentaharp, some fun songs you can learn. What else will they find on the pentaharp website?
If you're coming from the point of being a guitarist, there is a tab generator there as well. So taking any of the the shapes that on the guitar, you can plug them in on the fretboard, and it will generate tablature. It's super cool. And definitely a lot of fun, but if you, and maybe not a useful tool if you're coming from the harmonica side and you don't quite know the guitar side.
Yeah, but go scope that out. It's going to be helpful. I'll talk a little bit about what's available here, but before I do, there's a question that came in the questionnaire, and it's, do chords work less well on the pentaharp versus diatonic? Yes, in a sense, as far as playing rhythm, yes, that'd be correct. You'd move to a diatonic Richter tune for those chords. Now, you can use them. I mean, I'll let you hear what they sound like. I'm breathing in on 1, 2, 3 draw and 1, 2, 3 blow. Almost has a synth kind of sound and has some coloring used perhaps, but you're not playing rhythm patterns typically on this harmonica. It's made for melody playing, just to be really clear. All right, what's available?
If I may, there is chords on this that you cannot do on a diatonic. A power chord from the guitar standpoint,
Okay.
You can do a 1-4-5 power chord progression just by blowing across the top. So that would be, Ronnie will probably talk about the octaves and things that you can do. But instead of blocking off, two holes, you just block off one hole, and you get a 1-5 octave. So that's a straight power chord. Yeah, you can't do that on a harmonica at all.
Very cool. It's an elusive. The one hole cover, my tongue must be too thick. I'm used to the 2-hole and the 3-hole covers. Never got to that drony sound. If you do it on a Richter tune, you get a really interesting sound too, but different. Um, so, what is available in the bending world? Just to point out the bends quickly, the easiest way to think about it is that, with the exception of hole two, let me just do this off the top of my head and tell me if I'm right. 2, 5, and 8 draw. With the exception of those holes, you can bend up to a full step on each hole. Let me say that again. With the exception of hole 2, 5, and 8 draw, which do not bend down, there's microtonal bending available, and the 5 is actually the most useful. The 2 is not as quite as flexible, let's say, with how it moves, but you'll find that the 1 draw, draw, half, and full step bend is there, and on the 3, and the same thing going up 4. The bending becomes a little harder the higher you go, a little challenging, let's say, for you to control it, but it's all there. Here's the 5, little baby bend. So you keep going, and you can draw bend all the way up here. So it's very expressive, which kind of like leads me to this thought of a segue to talk about, if the harmonica is designed, just to point this out quickly, to breathe in and out and give you that nice minor pentatonic and blues scale, should you be bending if you're a harmonica player? Yes, you can bring in the bends to embellish the scale. Embellishment notes just like... Still breathing in and out with the pattern. But I can lift the notes from the bend. So that is something to explore, experiment with. All right. Let me just get through this. This might be smart to just point out the available technique that is smart to think about. I'll make this probably fairly brief, but when you want to play octaves, you just need to cover 2 holes no matter where you are on the harmonica. So since there's a lot of harmonica players here, you guys are used to, if you've worked on it, up top, the draw octaves are only available by covering 3 holes on a normal harmonica standard tune. So we don't need to adjust anything. If you can get your 2-hole cover octave, you just do that all the way up. And that is just such a wonderful available technique for you. Where here's the thing to keep in mind. Unlike a Richter tune harmonica, each octave, each register of the harmonica is identical in the tuning. This is really important to recognize, everybody. So if you learn an idea on the bottom, practice or present it in the middle perhaps and work on a different octave. It's a different range of expression because we're going higher up. So if I learn that I like, I don't have to change that pattern whatsoever. And that's honestly, they've made this just super easy to make music on. So you're thinking, what should we do with this? What kind of music? Well, anything, but since it's tuned to a minor scale, and I'm not a big theory head, but start with minor rock songs. And classic rock is like Drew mentioned earlier, that's your sweet lane to just, you don't need me to teach you anything. You'll be able to just breathe in and out and find some beautiful phrasing. It's really simple. So you turn on your favorite song, make sure you've got the right key harmonica. It's in the same key as the music because we're going to be playing what would be called first position. And that's something I didn't queue up today. Actually, I should. Maybe I'll randomly pull up a first position. I was stuck in 10th position in relative major. So any questions that came by? Let's pause for a minute. That was a lot of information coming at you. All right, just checking the chat. Looks like we are. Drop ends make it so versatile. I agree. All right. Justin's put the layout for the PentaHarp in the chat, but again, you can find the layout on pentaharp.com as well.
And we also just on the Hohner website put all the different keys, the layout for all the different keys. So I put that in the question and answer, but I will put that in here as well.
Awesome. There's a couple other questions in the Q&A side. Will new keys be available, like C sharp?
Yes. So that is coming down the line. We plan on having all 12 keys. It's funny, here in Nashville, Tennessee, we're lots of singer-songwriters around who like to detune, a half step. So it absolutely has to be, available. But that'll probably come mid to late 2022.
All right, and this is a good time to mention there is an app that you can download on either in iOS for your iPhone or Android users on your smartphones. You can get this app called the Harp Guru, HARP Guru, GURU. Before you just go there and download it, since you're here attending, and I'll explain what it is in just a moment. The developer has offered 75% off. If you're an Android user, they're different platforms, so it's a different process for him. You would email him at contact@harpguru.com, and he will give you a code for 75% off. That'll be good for a chunk of time. And then on the iOS side, you've got a few hours to take advantage after this ends if you'd like to download it. Again, that'll be on sale. It's very inexpensive. And it's a powerful tool to have on your phone. Okay, so what is the Harp Guru? It shows you the tuning and possible position work available where these notes are. If you don't know what position work is, it's in layman's terms, you have a key in your hand, a particular key harmonica, and you're determining what key you want to play it in. We don't always play it in the key it's tuned. That determines position. So first position is always the key of the harmonica itself. From there, there's other positions. So if you want to get into what's available, because I see a question from Eric saying, can we play this in first, second, and third positions like the Richter? Yes and no. The answer is, well, you can play other positions, but I would encourage everybody to really exploit and explore the first position first to see the power of what you can find. And then when you want to try other positions, you'll find that second position is riddled potentially with like very challenging, let's say, because you could overblow. You'd have to overblow or do even more advanced techniques to get certain position work. But there's some friendly ones that we'll talk about today, like 10th position, which if you're playing second position currently on a standard tune, the adjustment is instantaneous. You will see in a moment when we share the scale work that you'll have it immediately, and it's a blast to play blues and jazz, especially, and some Latin flavored music that I've been experimenting with. It's really intuitive. So 10th position, you can play relative major or minor, and I'll explain that in a minute. So to answer your question, yes, but it's not the same. So I wouldn't think of it just like your standard tuning. All right, what else do we have? I have a B flat. Does that mean I can play music written in B flat? Yes, instruments, say like a sax.
All the instruments I played a saxophone in the past, but I don't know exactly how that lays out, but I do believe so.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. And so use your ears. Betty, you've got great ears. I know Betty. Betty, use your ears and see what it sounds like when you pull the piece up. I would start with the minor. So you have a B flat PentaHarp, which means B flat minor scale work. You know, one thing to point out I haven't mentioned anywhere is that minor scales work over major and minor. So there's some room to experiment outside of. I still think it sounds best over the minor stuff that I've found, but you can experiment outside of minor for first position. Draw slaps sound good, but blow slaps not so much. Is that right, or is it just my ear? I think you could get away with both. Here's an A. That's when we just put our tongue. We get kind of a. You're hearing the chord, so that maybe what's throwing you. I think it works okay though. To my ear. I think it can work. A little experimentation on that maybe. I had to ship from the US, limited stock available, but great service and worth the extra shipping. Excellent. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, I did also comment. So all markets are going to be able to get the PentaHarp. Hohner Germany is going to be shipping those out in January. So for those that are not in the U.S. or don't want to ship from the U.S., it's going to be probably late January, February, depending on shipping from Germany, to be able to get them.
All right, cool. You think maybe it's time that we could pull up some charts and show you an alternative. I'm just checking the chat real quick. Price the question, the Harp Guru, right? Thanks for mentioning that again. It will be active after on iOS after the webinar today. So right when we end, I'm going to remind you again. I'll do my best to remind everybody. But since you're in here, the developer for Harp Guru is in here. Maybe you can throw that in the chat before we leave today and remind everybody. It'll be active for Android users. You'll email directly at contact@harpguru.com to get a code for 75% off. It's going to be, I would encourage everybody to grab it if you're on the fence. It's so affordable, and you play around with it, you're going to see there's so much information there beyond just the PentaHarp too. Okay. Are you okay if I pull this up now, Drew? You thinking
Please do it. Yeah, go for it, man.
All right, everybody. Just got look, I want to take a minute and just show you that what we have here is the relative major. This is pointed out on the website without getting into a theory discussion, so I don't get in trouble here, get myself deeper than I should. Examine a circle of fifths, the chart, and you'll see relative majors available to each minor, right? And so for the A minor PentaHarp, you can play that in C major. For the A PentaHarps, am I saying that right? Do I have that wrong? I think I wrote that. C major on an A. Yeah, it's E flat. I have it wrong. I'm going to fix that. I wrote A. I meant to write. So what it is this, everybody. When you're on the C PentaHarp, you're in E flat. And when you are on the A, you're in C. Those are the relative minors. So what did I write here? Relative major, C major on an A. That is correct. C minor on an A for the blues scale. Right, because I thought I was rewriting the major for a different key. No, I was giving you a totally different scale. So this is correct. So let's just talk about it. On an A, it would sound like this. Look at the pattern, by the way. It's all repeating. All this is going to sound the same. Major pentatonic scales right in front of you by playing this pattern. That's 1 draw, 2 blow, 3 blow, 3 draw, 4 blow, and 4 draw. And it's just so simple. So let me let you hear that. Let's do a little demo here. So what I'll pull up here, happy acoustic guitar backing track. You can find this on YouTube. This is an E flat. So I'm playing the relative major I'm in a C minor PentaHarp, right? And the track is an E flat major. So I'm going to use this scale and just play the scale actually, just to let you hear that. Let's get some volume. Sound okay?
Yep.
Just breathing in and out, essentially, and following these notes. Switching the notes up a little bit, just moving them around. It's that simple. And it sounds really nice. Nick Clark, Niclark, also put up a nice little demo of him playing rack harmonica using the relative major. And it just sounds really sweet. It's just, the greatest thing is that you can turn your brain off and just, once you've got this pattern by muscle memory, you can just play and emote, and you can just hold notes. You really don't need to move too much. There's no bending needed for relative major. Does that make sense to everybody? It does sound cool. I mean, I'm not much of a happy acoustic guitar track kind of player. Maybe I'm used to playing blues, but I can, we can find our way around quite easily. So that's what it sounds like, again, to play E flat major on a C minor PentaHarp. But you would use this scale for any key. You just need to find what the relative major is for the key you have by using the circle of fifths. But
it's on the side of the box as well.
What's that?
It's on the side of the box.
It's on the side of the box. Oh, yeah. It gives you that information. You don't even have to go anywhere. Hohner's made it really easy. And let me just see if I missed anything here. Yeah, it's really cool. This is the first time I've ever played, to be honest, this relative major stuff with the PentaHarp. I just kind of pulled it up today to listen to it and try it. Now, that's enough said about the relative major. The blues scale. If you think about what harmonica players are doing in third position, here, like this. So I would be in C, that put me minor, which would put me on my A PentaHarp to play this, okay? This is a B flat Richter, just to let you hear third position. And there are no blow notes, but let me share something with you before I play anything or try to demo anything. Is that this is the blues scale, which puts you in 10th position. Sounds scary, it's not. You can use 2 blow. You can use 5 blow. Those are safe notes to use. For whatever reason, my ear tells me no problem. You can actually put them in anywhere in the progression of a blues. You're going to be fine. You're going to hear that in just a sec. If you can bend, everybody, that's a full step bend. That's a half step bend. That's another half step bend. I'm going to play this on a C real quick. Just one more time. And why would you want to do it? I had somebody ask me well, why not just play third? Well, you can. But the tone of a PentaHarp sounds very different. The register and the notes fall in a different feel, a different part of the harmonica. And it just, for the same reason you'd switch up position work on a standard tune, you would want to experiment with a PentaHarp and play this 10th. And I guarantee you, if you play second and third position, or even just second, and you learn this, you're going to fall in love with it. I instantaneously started to enjoy this and started to bring the PentaHarp to my gigs and use 10th position whenever I could. So that puts us in E flat minor. Let's see if there's any experts. If I'm wrong on anything, feel free to. You won't hurt my feelings. Before we do that, which low keys are available on the PentaHarp currently? Yeah, that would be like low F.
Yeah, just low F, and I just answered that there. So far, the only discussion is taking it down to low E. We realize that the E is a little high pitched. For the PentaHarp, especially for somebody coming in from guitar. So definitely a low E, and it will certainly have a low F sharp as well. So we'll do an F sharp, and for those people doing the half step down.
Nice. Yep. All right. So let's find my playlist. Let's take a C PentaHarp and listen to E flat What can we find? Here we go. I'm just gonna bring up just blues. So it's just a blues in E flat minor. So let me play the scale notes. Play it with me if you have a C. Two blow. Five blow. Sounds pretty sweet, right? I mean, this is right in front of you guys. So if you're already playing and you're used to bending, give this 10th position a shot. We don't need the scale up right now for, and I'm happy to, if you email me, I'm happy to send you this if you really, if you want to have a copy of this. But let me just say one more thing is that we didn't put up the scale work for the first position because literally the pattern is blow, draw, blow, draw. You just breathe out, breathe in from hole 1 all the way up. So I don't have anything cued, but let me just see something real quick. These are all C minor. Just to let you hear something. Gosh, what am I going to get into? Let's see here. I'm trying to keep it simple. I don't want to... the point of this, I want to be really clear about something. If you hear me do something and go, gosh, I'm not going to be able to do that, you can keep this as simple as you want. That first position is designed for you to turn your brain off and just play. So let's see what this sounds like. I don't even know what this is going to be. So we're in a C minor penta. Let's say you can't get single notes. You can't make a mistake, everybody. There's no way for you to mess up. So if you just stick to your in and out, you don't need to bend or do anything. They've made it quite simple. And then again, as I mentioned, you could begin to slowly bring in some of the bending to those draw notes, and it'll work just fine. You won't be out of tune. Is that helpful? Oh, cool. I see what Drew's writing about the classic rock licks. This is where it pays off, is you find the melody, a simple part of a melody or a famous guitar riff that you've heard, nothing like not a slash line or something crazy, but like something that sounds very approachable, and you'll be able to find it right off the scale typically. Jimi Hendrix, pick a song, who are some of the artists that they should be digging up to play this in first position?
Geez, just, I mean, throw a rock and hit anything classic rock,
Yeah.
I mean, that's really it. I mean, yeah, even stuff, like Ozzy things and that sort of thing. But yeah, no, I mean, really any bands.
I mean, there's a lot of minor work. The key is find some of the minor stuff.
Yeah.
Most of it is.
Most of it is. I mean, like when they're soloing, that's where, they're jumping to the relative minor, to solo. That's kind of what we were trained to do. But yeah, that is really it's hard not to find something.
I see a question about price. I want to. The pricing is around 45.
49
49.
in the
Okay,
US. Yeah.
49. I think that's in line with what you'll see for
A special
again
20. Yeah.
special 20, which is essentially with the it's based off of that the construction of like a special 20. Don't let the blue comb fool you. This is ABS plastic.
Yeah.
It's very airtight. I really like the construction of the PentaHarps. They play very well. If you keep in mind that they're not designed to really bend on the 2 and the 5, there's no room to move that note. Be gentle in those areas. They work just fine, and the harmonicas, all of the ones I've tried are sealed really well and they're airtight. What else went by here real quick? Okay, cool. I see somebody's waiting for a whole bunch of PentaHarps to come in. Excellent. Okay. Peter has a question that I don't know if we answered directly, so let me take this. The pattern to play a particular scale in a particular position never changes regardless of the key you're in. As long as you adjust to the right key harmonica, you're correct. If you don't adjust your key harmonica, you're absolutely changing positions. That's by definition. So, yes, you learn a simple scale or pattern, and it's going to apply in any key. Absolutely. Good question. Yeah. Okay. What else do I have? Just to give you a flavor, I don't want to like just play the whole time, but I don't mind demoing a tiny bit more. Is there something that you guys want to hear what it would sound like or anything in particular?
We do have a question. Says, which 2-note combos sound the coolest and most bluesy?
Oh, like, okay. That's actually what's interesting about, I think what you mean is like playing adjacent holes, like 2 notes that are side by side. They're all going to be set up. They should all sound, for the reasons we discussed earlier, similar. They're all very usable. I don't know what the interval exactly is, to be honest, off the top of my head, but it has a very similar sound to the single hole cover on a standard Richter tune, whatever that it would be called. It's escaping me at the moment, but they're all usable. So you can play around with it. It's more going to be for coloring, maybe adding a little bit of texture in the background. But essentially, even the single clean notes, I think most people, when we see this get out there long term, especially guitar players that are using a rack, it's going to just create a vibe. It's less about coming up with these killer solos and more about adding another layer of sound to your music. And of course, when you find the melodies, it's beautiful. So you can find Happy Birthday on the, I think it's on, is it on the PentaHarp page?
No, we didn't do Happy Birthday.
I don't know. I'm not going to embarrass myself and try to find something on this that I don't know, but I'd be happy to put it up on YouTube if you want. Instead of spending time finding it right here. To me, I'll just to be sure this, when you get it, you play it, blow, draw, pattern in and out. You don't have to think about anything. If you want to discover some nice melodies in first position, it just takes a minute to figure out where these notes are. But there's plenty that you can play so many melodies. Both in first and in 10th is very friendly for that too, just to share that with you. Little St. James Infirmary right in front of you off the minor blues scale. Yeah, the double stops are nice. All right. Good questions. Thanks so much for these excellent questions you're bringing in. We should let you know that there will be another webinar if you want to join again. Approximately a month from now, we'll promote it. We'll advertise that so you'll see it. Customized tuning. While that might defeat the purpose potentially of the instrument itself if you change the tuning, but I mean, altered tunings are a thing. I don't see why you couldn't experiment. I'm less knowledgeable in that department, personally. I'm wondering what key you'd recommend for the first PentaHarp to get familiar with it. For typical blues keys, go ahead and try. It depends on the key you want to play in. But Drew, I mean, I would say get in C or an A are fairly common. A especially, maybe.
Yeah, probably A. You will have a hard time finding them right now.
Yeah.
I mean, they have been selling through. If I may, without discounting any other retailers out there, probably the people with the best supply right now in store is going to be Guitar Center. They bought up most of our initial stock. So yeah.
Can I share my link? Can I share?
Oh, absolutely. Please do. Yeah, that is.
All right, I'll put this link and it'll take you to an option to purchase from Guitar Center. Of course, I'm being a little bit selfish that it does support me in a small way, but this link will take you to some options, if nothing else. So here's the link for you to look at. If you don't want to use this, absolutely, by all means, just look up Guitar Center. But this is one place you can find it. Okay, here it is. I'm just going to throw this in there and be done. The wind is blowing hard. It is so windy here. It's incredible. Let me choose everyone so it doesn't go to just panelists. There we go. So I think you guys should be able to see that. There's a place where you should be able to find the option to purchase through Guitar Center. All right. Somebody asked something else that passed by that I wanted to touch. And gapping and tuning and custom work, no different reed-wise. You should be able to do anything you want. So that's a really good segue into the overblows. Overblows are available across the entire harmonica. For those that don't know what that means, it does not mean this. It's not blow bending. Overblows take place on a Richter tune on the 1 through 6. And it raises the pitch of the note. They're available on every single note. And actually, this is a very good point. I'm glad you brought this up. Yes, if you are going to use these overblows, I'll play one for you on a C. Mine's not set up to be custom. It's not customized. You can get them if you were. I'm not a super advanced overblower, but if you were, you can already coax out a handful of these, no problem. But just like any diatonic harmonica, you want to set it up to maximize the gapping in a certain way, yes. And you should, if you're going to be experimenting with like some heavy jazz and you want to utilize all these overblows. I think that's not a terrible idea. But is it necessary? No, I don't think you have to. But if that's your approach and you want all the available overblows, they're there. You can do it. All right, cool. Did we catch up with all the questions? Didn't miss anything else. Q&A's got a couple. Yeah, Latin. Fred says Latin. Or let's do classic rock first. That's what we should do. Let's take some. Let me see if I have a classic rock song here. I know I do somewhere. For the A harmonica, which puts us in C. Let's see, classic rock. Ooh. Let me just first briefly give you this sound on a C. Minor, pentatonic, E flat minor. It's the 10th, but then I'll try to do something in the first position too. But check out this 10th position to this. Sixth bow. So there it is. The rock is cool in 10th, but I think it's important that we approach this from the first position because really that is the original, idea behind the PentaHarp. So if I go, let me just see what I have pulled up. No, no, no. Ballad, atmospheric backing, 80s. Wait, do we have any 80s? I got some of that Latin minor in C. I've never played first position over this stuff ever, so this will be interesting to see what happens. Let me play it very basic for you. First position. Right? Start to jump some holes if you're a beginner. Once you've played the scale in order, right? Just like any scale work, jump some holes and find another scale note. I think it works. Man, I've never done that, to be honest. I never played it just something outside of, a little bit of the rock and blues flavor in first. And so that just shows you you're going to find that you can use this for a lot of classic rock, blues, any roots music really, folk, singer-songwriter, country, a little bit of country would work. I think you need to be careful because there's a lot of country in you could use the relative major and use that 10th. You'd have a lot better luck. But you don't want to be playing your first position over the country because most of it's all major. Happy. Not that all the songs are happy, but so that's the distinction. You have to figure out when people ask me, what key do I get? What should I do with it? Think about what you want to do. And the PentaHarp can apply to almost anything. I mean, almost.
One thing that we recommend for beginners, really starting out on the instrument is since you don't have to use a whole lot of technique, just go slow. All the notes work, so if you use it for texture and background and layering and melodies, go slow. It actually sounds a whole lot better.
Yeah, and by that, let me clarify that even more. You can also go slow in the sense, just hold a note.
Right.
Don't think you ever have to move because the song is changing chords. The note will be true and work anywhere. Any of these scale notes can apply. So yeah, some of these longer phrases where you're just going something totally different, sticking to first position, like a ballad. This is the I mean, you can't really do wrong. So I know I've had a lot of people ask about, we already covered it, but yeah, people are waiting. And I think Drew probably mentioned this, but early in the year, in January, and most likely you'll start to see stock. Is that right? Roll in overseas.
Yeah, more so overseas. Yeah, that's when the official launch. We developed the PentaHarp in the U.S. and we were going to be the test market from the very beginning. So that's why we got it a little bit earlier than the rest of the world. I will say, had somebody mention E minor being back ordered. Yeah, that one has been in very short supply. The key of A minor has, is also somewhat in short supply, but that's just because it sold through so quickly. These are, it's becoming a very popular harmonica. Let's just say that.
Somebody was mentioning it's easy to play fast since you don't have to bend. Sure, once you get a nice in-out pattern going, just I agree, you can really get some nice speed. And you could bring the bends in and also keep that speed too with a little practice. John says, I noticed after playing it, the PentaHarp exclusively for a week, going back to the Richter tuning was challenging, but eventually it came back. Any tips for jumping back and forth? Um, Play them each often, and you won't have that problem. I think you'll find that just because it's new, it feels that way. But visualization's a great way. I did a whole class on visualization. The Harp Guru is a great tool to help you with visualization too. But you're just wanting to identify with how does the pattern look. What's the scale? What are the scale notes, and what is that? In the first position, we know it's just out in, so we don't have to think too much. But I would agree with John when it comes to just working on like another position. Yeah, it just takes a little bit of practice and effort seeing the pattern you're playing.
Betty asked about she can't find the A minor anywhere that's not on back order. I said it just a minute ago, but check out if you have a local Guitar Center, they should. Most of them are going to have that in store right now. Okay, they may not have the key of E, but they do have. They should have the key of A. I will say they can ship to you as well on the store level. They're not going to have it online. If they're back ordered online, they're going to be, just back ordered online. But the stores should actually have it, and they can ship if you call up.
All right. And Mary Beth, to answer your question, the link that I posted for Lesson Squad, you won't see the Guitar Center option until you're all the way at the end of checkout. Then it will ask you as you're clicking through and you've chosen the key. At that point, it'll make you choose between Sweetwater and Guitar Center, I believe, are the options through Lesson Squad. So just don't expect to see that until checkout. You shouldn't have to register, I don't think,
you don't
to do that. So yeah, and now if it's out of stock, then maybe it won't pull. Maybe it's not working for that reason.
Yep.
Before we fully run out of time, I want to say again, thanks to everybody who's actually here. You'll see a reminder in the chat from Harp Guru right now about how you can get the app for your phone and get the discount. iOS users, you got to do it starting at 12 p.m. Central. That's in 2 minutes. It'll be active for a few hours. Come back if you want to come back and just refamiliarize yourself with some of the things we talked about. There will be some repetition, but there's some new things that'll come up because there will be different questions and different people in here. We encourage you to share the link that you found today. It'll be the same link. So we want to tell you, hey, share that in your favorite music groups, not just harmonica groups. If you're in clubs, if you're in guitar groups or whatever, share that and let people know. Help us spread that word. We'd really appreciate it.
Absolutely. So thank you once again, everybody who has come on board today. This will be a monthly meetup. So like Ronnie says, there will be some repetition because we'll have newcomers coming in. But yeah, some great tips. We're gonna find new things. This is a brand new platform. And the fact that we have found so much that was completely unintended. I know Harp Guru, you did a great video and you gave us a lot of credit for coming up with a design. Most of that was not intended.
It's the stroke of genius from the Hohner team.
Yeah.
If you guys need me, don't forget you can reach me at harmonica123.com if that's easier to remember. If you're a total beginner or a guitar player, somebody who's new to the harmonica, I've got a couple beginner things at the site that might help you get started on the technique you'll want for playing those single notes. But just reach out. I'm very accessible. I'm very responsive through email. Will the site be updated as we go along? Are there forums? I don't know that there's an actual PentaHarp forum. And Drew maybe can answer whether the site will be updated.
Yeah, the site will be updated, as we move, we gain more content, things like that. We did start a group for on Facebook. I don't know. I believe that it is public. So PentaHarp tools and tips. There's not a whole lot on there right now, or tricks and tips. So PentaHarp tricks and tips. So by all means, guys, please join up over there, and that can be a source where we can all learn from each other.
One last thought today before we go. I encourage you guys to put yourselves out there. Maybe make some recordings if you're courageous enough to make a short video and share something on social media, I'd love to see it. I know Drew loves getting that and seeing that, and it'll help other players hear what you're doing with the instrument. You might have a unique approach that is very different, and we just want to hear what you're up to. So get out there and share, and join us maybe next month. Thank you so much again for being here. And Drew, thanks, man. This has been great.
This has been awesome. Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Ronnie. You did a great job.
All right. Appreciate it. We'll see you guys soon.